Hi everyone, Grant K here for the Flame Premium Learning channel. In the previous video, we looked at the Comp Timeline Effects tool and how it plays an integral part in the sequence when doing layer compositing. In this video, we take a look at another big change in the timeline. With the Reactor 2.0 batch processing engine directly in the timeline, action is now able to make its appearance in the sequence as a timeline effects. This means that almost all of the action functionality is now accessible as a quick timeline effects tool without having to go into BFX, Batch or the desktop tools. You can get started with quick and easy action tasks in the sequence, but still have the choice to expand into BFX and Batch as you iterate your composites. For existing Flame Premium artists and Smoke Advanced artists, this is a major shift from what you are used to. The old Axis SoftFX tool that originally handled layer-based composites in the sequence has now been retired. As a reminder, you do have the 2D Transform Timeline Effects tool for quick composites, but you now have action for more advanced work. This should cover everything you used to do with Axis. However, you now have one interface to learn between core creative areas in the application. Action also brings its enhanced compositing functionality to the timeline level, including the surface tools, 3D lighting, 3D tracking, filtering, and motion blur. So a few things have been done in order to support action as a timeline effects. For example, I'll call up the effects ribbon and apply action as a timeline effects to this segment. The action timeline effects also has its own mini toolbar. Here you have access to the image axis, the camera, surface, light and rendering settings. The mini toolbar also gives you access to the action lens flare presets that come installed with your software. So for example, I could select the default colored lens flare and load it into action. Just use the light menu in the mini toolbar and you can adjust the settings for this particular lens flare. At any time, you can jump straight into action and start changing settings and adding nodes like you have done in the past. So for example, if I wanted to push the lighting effect further, I could add a blooming node into the action schematic and use it to enhance the impact of the lights. For existing artists that have applied Action's toolset in the past, you will know what to do from here. However, being a timeline effects, Action has a few workflow changes because it is directly applied to the selected segment. So I'll come back to the sequence and delete the Action timeline effects. Let's reapply it again to the segment and examine what you need to know. The first understanding has to do with actual compositing in the sequence. As I have mentioned in a previous video, the general working of the effects pipeline and layer-based compositing is that the Comp Timeline Effects is used to composite layers together in the sequence. And as part of that workflow, it is the last process in the segment's effects pipeline. So if I scaled the segment down with action and comp is off, you will see the result of action, but it is not compositing over the background layers. So if you turn comp on, then the Comp Timeline Effects will take the RGB and alpha from action and perform the layer composite after the action process. And if you entered into the action editor, the default result view will show you the layer over black. To see the context of your composite, you would have to press 3 for the primary track context view. This workflow is currently using action as a transformation tool, and the Comp Timeline Effects at the end of the effects pipeline is doing all the combining. This may be useful for certain instances, but not truly practical since action is a compositor and it makes sense to use it for its intended purpose. So go back to the sequence and turn comp off. In order to use action as the compositor between the current segment and the underlying video tracks, ensure you can see the Action mini toolbar. At the far right of the mini toolbar, turn on Use Back. You will get an instant composite in the player as before, and if you enter into the Action editor, your default result viewers will work as expected. This might be the most preferable option for Flame Premium artists and Smoke Advanced artists using Action as a timeline effects. The second workflow change has to do with the fact that Action is being applied to the segment. And like the previous Axis SoftFX tool, Action in its current state as a timeline effects can only load the current segment as its media. If you go into the Action Media menu, you will find all the add options grayed out. You cannot load more layers into the media list at this point. Your options would be to promote this into BFX or Batch in order to load more media layers into Action. On the plus side, if you created anything using Action, you have the same flexible workflow common with all timeline effects. For example, you can copy Action between segments in the sequence and to the desktop. So versioning, presets, and iteration is still possible at the timeline level. In the next timeline effects video, we will look at promoting your timeline effects layer composites into the BFX node compositing environment. Comments, feedback, and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the Flame Premium Learning channel for future videos.